Hi Mark. First of all, I just want to welcome you as a mission partner for Insurer Index. And my kind of first question is, Mosaic has built a brand already, and what are the kind of differentiating aspects of that are really important?
Well, first of all, thanks Ben, I'm really pleased to be partnering with you. So brand's obviously critically important to everybody in terms of creating value. I think for us, it's worth observing that because we launched during the global pandemic, we had to be very thoughtful about how we presented to market, because obviously the brands, as we see it, intrinsic in the people, but our people weren't able to get out as often as we would have liked, in the conventional sense of the word. So we really were very thoughtful about the perception of the firm and what we wanted, how we wanted to be recognised within the industry right from the get-go. And it's essentially about underwriting. We're an underwriter's underwriter. And it's about the people who do that underwriting. So we wanted to give as much profile to them. We're unashamedly a challenger brand, and we've come out of the gates in that way.
So you're a challenger brand, you're a mission brand on Insurer Index now. What is that mission? What do you see that as in the future in terms of where does brand help? I suppose that's what I think would be really interesting to understand.
We're very, very clearly created to provide syndicated product to our clients around the world. At the moment, they really have to go to London to get that. So we want to change that. In order to do that, in order to create the bedrock of syndication, we have to have lead market capability or to be a price maker. So that's where our real focus is at the moment in terms of making sure that the market's aware of those credentials and the credibility there. And really, really importantly, stressing how the claims role in that as well. And again, just very candidly, that's important. While most people in the team have been around for decades, the corporate brand needs to reflect our view around how claims are handled, and that's ultimately the product we're creating. We talk about syndication, but we're selling a claims promise.
And so and there's a lot of, I suppose, skepticism, I'd say, perhaps in the insurance industry around brand. Hasn't really, it's developing now pretty quickly, but I think people will be interesting, and it'd be interesting to hear just where does brand help you? Does it give you more credibility, kind of more trust? How do you kind of view that in a pure kind of commercial sense?
Yeah, well, first of all, I have to say I'm not skeptical about it at all, and never have been. It's the client view is an essential part of any business, whatever the commercial activity is. So I would say we've taken it very seriously since day one. We're not newly converted zealots. And I wouldn't even see it in those terms. It's just something that we have to do well, because you're using your word trust. We need and should demonstrate activity that leads to the creation of trust rather than just talk about it. So a big part of our brand mission is to talk about our people, talk about how they do things, their characteristics, the culture of the firm, and not take that for granted.
Yeah, that's interesting. Kind of final kind of area I think that's really important, and we're at the Risk Summit today, was on the panel this morning, and particularly Stephen Catlin was talking about the issue of talent and the challenges, and I think all the panel were in agreement with that, and I think in London we're getting exactly the same thing, which is this is kind of almost a moment of crisis, I think, in some senses around talent, and a sense that the industry, which people talk about is not being cool or not being interesting to the outside world. What's your kind of take on that? You've got a very cool brand, haven't you, clearly?
Yeah, and again, we feel very strongly about that, and we actually think insurance is really cool. Good. And not least because of where we are in the world today and the problems associated with climate, with economy, with inflation. The role of insurance is so critically important in a way that it hasn't been. It's much more pronounced at this point in time than it probably ever has been, or certainly since the Second World War, when you think of the extreme uncertainty out there at the moment. So in terms of playing a role in transferring risk and making people feel safe, making them feel secure so they can go about their daily activities or build their own businesses, I think that's a really cool, purposeful thing.
Brilliant. Thanks, Mark. We'll be there with you along the way, fighting the good fight for brand.
Very good.
Thank
Look
you.
forward to working with you.